Hello everyone, and thank you very much for tuning in. I, of course, am Rotype. Welcome back to Cedar Valley Redux, where we're just going to take a quick look here at some of the small work I did in between episodes off camera. Mainly just this kind of corner of Port McCarthy. You may recognize this part over here to the left that was done a couple episodes ago. So as I have said before, I'm pretty much just coming in and slowly chipping away at some of the detailing that needs to be done in Port McCarthy. So mostly it's just this kind of little back area in here behind these buildings. And I did add these, four buildings I think it is, and this little parking lot just to kind of round out this corner of Port McCarthy. And nothing too crazy, just a little bit of the Fidelmo grass that I've been addicted to recently and some parking lots. I found that these Jersey barriers work really well to kind of delineate the edges of parking lots in the industrial area. They work kind of like fences to, as I've said before, just kind of block off property areas, but you can be a little more haphazard. You can see back here with my angles, I kind of just plop them down, and unfortunately there's nobody parked here right now, but I think this looks pretty decent. Now, I don't believe there's too much else I did in between episodes. I think the one other thing I should show you is over here. I added some on and off ramps because I know we're gonna need them, and we're gonna need more than this. I'm gonna need to probably do some kind of interchange. I'm not sure where. Hopefully, actually, it might have to be right in here with this train line. So that might get a little complicated because we're gonna get some traffic. So I'll have to figure that out. But for now, I just went ahead and dropped these nice little, I think it came in pretty well, just nice sloping on and off ramps. And obviously there's a lot of detailing that needs to be done, but I'll do that a little bit later. You can also see I've started to zone in some more areas. Now, I'm undecided how I feel about some of this. So obviously, Folks Corner over here, or Folks Quarter as it has been renamed, I should say, is all of this tall New York style that I created out of a bunch of different workshop assets. Now, I'm debating if I do actually want to shift into the mostly vanilla with a few additional workshop assets style that you'll see here, and then I just did a little bit of it here. I suppose I'll go over to this side first. So this is north side, and it's not done yet. Obviously, there's a bit of grass here that doesn't look quite right, and then even there's just a little too much concrete. But I zoned all this in with just the, I believe it's called international style of buildings. And so, most of these are vanilla. Some of these are just early workshop assets that came out, early in the game when people were just kind of producing things as growables before Rico came around, etc. And I don't know how I feel about it. Almost in the literal interpretation of that sentence. I'm not sure if I like it or not. It does seem to go kind of well with this, university campus area with these more modern buildings. And the reason I tend to zone this way is because when they're close to these modern skyscrapers, they, I guess, fit. But of course, they don't really fit this tall wall-to-wall New York style that's over here. And I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure how I feel about it. So I'll take, I guess, a quick little, a couple angles, I guess, to show you guys, especially when, you kind of look at it from this angle or maybe over here. And actually, I'm going to move the sun around just a little bit to try and show this off a little bit more accurately. There we go. So I guess it's not half bad, but you can definitely tell the difference between this neighborhood with these wall-to-walls and over here with the separated buildings. Again, I'm not sure how I feel about it one way or another, so you'll definitely have to let me know. And of course, it'll probably look better. I've only done some minor detailing with some fences in here and some grass. Of course, I added the concrete walls along the highway because regardless of what style the buildings are, I feel like that is appropriate. But I'm still kind of struggling with what I want to do with it. The fire station here got its own little block. I think this actually looks nice. And then I've yet to detail the police station here. This is actually a police station. It looks kind of like a normal building, but it functions as a police station, which I like because it blends in. So, but like I said, let me know what you think about this building style being here. If it's kind of too jarring contrasted to this tall New York style. Now, in a similar manner, if I swing back over here, I have dropped this to the Brooklyn style. And again, I'm going to bring the sun, bring the sun back around a little bit. So I've brought this neighborhood in under the Brooklyn style, which I really like. I've used it, let's go back into cinematic mode. I've used it a lot in the past, and I think it looks really good. And I like it because it really makes the station here stand out as a big landmark. Clearly, you can see, it's several stories taller than these buildings, and this is the landmark of the neighborhood. However, if we look over here kind of at the edge, or even just kind of look at it from this angle, they look really small. I mean, they're only 2 stories compared to, I don't know how many stories. Let's just see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I don't know, like 10 stories or whatever over there. And it looks a little jarring, I think, when I'm out at this angle. You can see there's a sharp line of the interstate, and then all of a sudden, low buildings. So similar to that area over there. I'm not sure what I want to do with this. I did at one point have the tall New York style in here, and it made the train station not pop as much. It was not the landmark of the neighborhood. I mean, obviously, if you look at it kind of from here, you see all the rails. But if you looked at it kind of at this angle, all of the buildings, I mean, you kind of see that if you just kind of look over here. The train station doesn't necessarily stand out. Now imagine if all these height buildings were right up next to it. So there are a couple things I can do about that. I can make another plaza. I've debated making this triangle, maybe another plaza, or perhaps a plaza with buildings offset here. Maybe, draw a line in kind of like this or something, and only zone on the left and leave the right another plaza. But long story short, I've done a little bit of zoning. I've done a little bit of detailing. And I'm just not sure what I want to do about the theme of these zoned in buildings. So we're going to take a step back this episode, away from this downtown area with all of these gridded streets, and probably just do a little bit of detailing that I'm comfortable in. I'm going to take a step back and go back to my comfort zone, things that I think will look good and can feel all right doing. And I think the first thing I want to do about that is this area here. This is the Vanilla Modern Art Museum, I believe it is. And I like the building, especially, as a vanilla building. It actually has a half decent LOD too. But I want to make this area a nice garden, I think. I think that will look pretty nice. There's not really much else you can do. I mean, you could zone in buildings or something, I guess, along the highway here, but I think it'll look pretty nice to have a nice garden. You figure you go to the art museum, you also, can go for a walk in the gardens. Plus, frankly, we don't have too many parks in the city as it is. Let's take a look here. We've got Boiler Point Park. And as far as green space goes, I mean, you get a little near the high school. I have mentioned a long time ago, I'm planning on turning this into a park. That's pretty much it. There's not a lot of park. I mean, I guess you could kind of count this plaza as a recreation, park area on Google Maps. I think it would show up as a park, but let's get a little more green in the city. And I think this is a good place to do it. So to that end, let's just go ahead and get started. I've made these pedestrian roads, which I think will work just fine. I'm gonna get those bollards there. Now, yeah, so I think the first thing I'm really just gonna do is fence it off. And actually, I'm not going to fence it off. I'm going to wall it off. Because I like to... You know what? Let's just do stone. There we go. I like to run some park walls with either stone walls or brick walls. And I feel like in this a little bit more modern area, the stone walls might look a little nicer. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. See how this looks. Now we might have a slope kind of problem over here on this end, and I do want to make sure I get this up on the corner. There we go. So I guess I should mention while I'm getting started on doing this will probably be an entirely live episode and a mostly detail episode for those of you who have recently commented. And by the way, I do read your comments and I appreciate them all very much. I've gotten several recently of people who really like the detailing. And as much as I've said before that I try to do that in Timelapse, because I feel like it can be, I don't know, a little tedious, I suppose, in live mode. I'll do, this episode will be probably mostly live, and you'll get to see some of my detailing process. If it gets to the point where we haven't really accomplished a ton, I might go ahead and drop some more detailing into a time lapse. But for now, let's just go ahead and, like I said, you'll get to see my thought process and how I go about these kinds of things. And there we go. So that's a good. Now the next thing I think I need to look at is this slope. I want to take this carefully. And yeah, as I thought, it's going to be a little bit low. So hopefully we can just move it here and move this up. I'd have to have the selector tool on. Here we go. I want props. And up we go. Now we're going to have some floating props here, but that'll be fine. So going back to comments, I did have one about fencing, I believe on 2 episodes ago. And I mentioned it in a reply to the comment, but in case you didn't see it, I really think fencing is a great way to make your cities look realistic and quickly. It doesn't take a lot of effort to draw, especially with prop line tool. It helps a lot. I remember doing this before prop line tool, and it was just, it was unbearable. But you can really just line up your props here. And like I said, it's an easy way to make your cities look realistic because, man, do people love fencing off their property. You just take a walk around outside anywhere and you'll just see fencing and walls and stuff everywhere. So mimicking real life, whether or not that's a great thing about society, who knows? I'm not going to get into that, but it is a great way to make your cities look realistic. Just drop a few walls and fences. It also serves as a focal point for any kind of detailing. You don't have to kind of come up with something out of the blue. You can follow a line of fencing or delineate a property, because this game, you zone in and each asset has its own property line, I suppose. But it's really kind of ambiguous because of the lack of fencing, and some assets have hedges, but some don't. So it's really helpful to, like I said, not only give you a little bit of realism right away, but you can also have a focal point for your detailing. You can just kind of follow a hedgerow or make a hedgerow along this property line. Makes things easier. So let's see, we're almost done here with this. And I'm going to have to go in and add another one just to connect those. It looks like we are doing pretty well here. It looks a little bit off. There we go. I also have been debating recently, and I don't have anything set up for this, but if people would like to watch me do much more of this in a much more kind of chilled atmosphere, I may start doing some of this on Twitch. So feel free to let me know if that's something you're interested in, if you would like to come hang out, put a little music on, and just kind of do some of this detail work that has to be done, but I don't necessarily always do on camera or in a live portion. Much more amenable to just kind of hanging out and working on these things. So, as with everything, let me know in the comments if that's something you like, and I'll go ahead and get things set up to do that. But in the meantime, there we go. Now we got to think about entrances. So I think I do want an entrance to the park kind of over here at this corner. Now these are probably large. So instead of bulldozing them, I think I just want to grab them and scoot them back one frame. There we go. And do that to this one. We'll just have a nice corner here. Entrance. There. So that way you can get in here in the main entrance. You can get in on the side. Do I want to make an entrance in the middle? No, I think I'm okay with just the corners. So now we'll go over here. And this might actually help me out with this corner that I needed to fill in anyway. Let's drop down to one here. There. And so the next thing will be to make a path. And I'll turn all these snapping tools off and just kind of give myself a nice windy path. Now, I never really have any plan for these kinds of things. I'm just gonna kind of drag it through. Yeah, that'll be fine. And then probably almost well, let's see, if I want the exact same, it might look a little samey. I might just do something a little different here and go kind of up and past it and then in. How's that look? Oh, it looks half, well, let's see. Maybe once we do some detailing, we'll take a look and see how this looks. So people doing shortcuts, and I'll put something up here for them to shortcut to. And how about here? Any shortcuts? Maybe back here to the end. You can just kind of do, I don't want bending on though. There we go. Just a little shortcut. And that's actually kind of messing with the path a little bit. We'll just drop that in. Yeah, that's fine. All right, so now we can start doing trees and rocks and other detail type items. Now these are probably too big. Well, actually not half bad. Why don't I just stick those in there? See, I don't like when they added these little extra floater rocks, especially because you can't even see them when you make when you start planning to plop the asset. You can't even see these little floaters. But there we go. I can maneuver the path around them. So there's that, and then on this side, to come up with maybe a fountain or something. Fountain. Now some of these are decent. Some of these are only okay. You know, I have quite a few. Yeah, that's a little too ostentatious. I think this comes with an entire park. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, I don't want all of that. This is gonna be a little more green area, I think. So I'll go ahead and stick with, let's see, do I want it here? Sure, we'll go with that there. And I do want to make sure the grass doesn't come through it, because that's annoying. Oh, that's actually part of the, well, the grass is still kind of coming through it. Let's see what I guess it does come with plants in it. I don't know if I like the plants. Let's see if we can get rid of that. Find a better one. That is too small. Too small. I mean, this is pushing it. It's a little small. I've used this before in the right over here. I've already used this one, so I'd rather not duplicate it. Let's see if I can come up with anything better. This is an entire park. How does this one look? No, I don't want all that stuff, especially with the parking lots. How does this? Well, I guess it is an art gallery. This is like a modern art museum or something, so it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to have a fountain with a statue in it. Kind of, you know, artsy, right? There we go. Yeah, okay. I can live with that. Now, I think I also want, do I have a gazebo? Nope, I don't have a gazebo. Maybe a pavilion? Ooh, maybe the PPG pavilion. There we go. Try and get some people in here. Now, if I were smart, I could convert this. Well, so I was thinking about I could convert this to a pedestrian, or not a pedestrian, a zoned road. I mean, same as this thing. But then it puts these lampposts in the middle, which I really am not a fan of. Although, what if I got an idea. So I get a zone road and I can just turn these lamps off. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I can't upgrade a path to a road. So I'll just make a new road and we'll do this. There we go, that'll work just fine. Actually, I want this more of a, there we go, easy angle here. And I think I'll just start over, turn snap off so I can get this the way I want it to. There. And I don't mind the sharp angle because I am going to just go back to path. This one, please. There we go. And the reason I didn't connect this is because I didn't want those bollards and the actual connection showing up. So let's just, distance too short. What if, but anarchy is on. All right, let's have it this way. No, don't want to work. Anybody? Come on. There we go. That'll work. So that means I need to plant my own lamps, but that's fine. Actually, this is going to be even easier. turn fence mode off. I want to make sure they get even spacing, and holy crap, that is a lot of lamps. And I really should do this at nighttime, which means a switch of the LUT to clarity, I believe it was. Whew. Now you can see why I don't use this during the daytime. And there we go. Let's take this out. Just kind of there, I think, is good. And I mentioned this before, but I really like this LUT at nighttime. I think it looks really cool. Let's bring this one into there, and then I don't want the lamps on the dirt path because that's kind of like a shortcut. Not an official way to go, I suppose. So we'll just do them along the paved path, but I will put one right here on the corner. And then, let's see. Do I want this one? Yeah, I think I do. Just that one there. There we go. And that will let me, once I go back to daytime and my other, well, satellite's fine. Not the normal I normally use, but good enough for daytime. Not blinding. Let's go, what was I working on? Oh, PPG, that was right. So now I can put all of these in here and get people in my park, which will make me happy. Oops, sorry about that freeze. Still, every once in a while, I'll get a bit of a frame rate problem when especially if I tilt up too far and end up seeing the rest of the city. All right, now benches. Now, unfortunately, I can't prop line tool the PPG benches, and I also can't see which way they go until after I place them. But we shall make do. I'm gonna put them right next to the lamps, I think. I feel like, you want to sit down next to a lamp. There we go. Put one on the corner here. Just a few more, and then we get to, I believe after this, I do want to check about a pavilion, but after this we'd be able to work on the foliage, which will really make this come together. Right now it's kind of just a blank space, but let's see, do I want this one? I don't know. Well, better than I think any other pavilion I have. So we'll stick with it for now. I'm going to put it kind of over here, away from the fountain, and actually off the, put it off the road path a little bit. Good. Now to foliage. Now what I used to do at this point was use surface painter and decals and go a little bit crazy. Trying to, well, maybe not crazy, but just kind of lining everything up. I've determined now that I can actually start with the trees and then go back with the decals, because I probably don't need as many decals as I think, because the trees will cover up a lot. So let's go, do like these Norfolk Island pines. These are kind of nice. Let's put a couple of these down. Let's see, maybe back here, I think I'm probably going to have a fair amount of trees along the highway. You can imagine they're probably trying to block the road noise and stuff with that. And then this pine as well, I like it a lot. So we'll get a few of these. And again, a lot of them in the back here. I should actually make sure I'm not, I thought double planting. This is tiny. I don't really like the tiny one. Get that out of the way. And just go through a couple nice trees in different places. Maybe nice up front. And then this bush number 8 is also a good one. It's nice and big, takes up a lot of space. These Norfolk Island pines are really nice, but you can see that they have this big trunk area, which doesn't exactly cover a lot of ground. So if you're looking to fill space, I mean, they fill it if you look up here, but if you're down on the ground level, you still have a lot of area to cover. You got to put a lot of bushes and whatnot down there. So bush number 8 does a decent job of that. And just a few more. I like the idea of also kind of covering the road, because you can imagine, you want to be in a park. You don't necessarily want to deal with road noise or see all that road stuff, you know, cars and people and pollution. And it's just, no, you're going to take a nice walk in the park. You don't really want to see any of that. So here's some more of the Padelmo stuff. This is a half decent. This one is a little, like, if you take a look here, it's a little colorful for my taste. I believe there's another one called, yeah, Forest Patch. Yeah, this is a little less colorful. And it's not for everywhere because it looks a little bit unkempt, which is a good thing in certain spaces. Which is why I'm kind of using it in this back area. I don't like that one. Just to kind of, you know, this is the slightly unkempt back behind. And I might switch to a different grass here, but this back area where they don't really care quite as much what's going on, just kind of keep it clean enough. Use a couple different varieties of this different grasses that I have. And even this pretty, you know, unkempt bush, kind of tuck that in places. Just to give a little variety, as I said. And in this back area, doesn't matter quite. That's a tree. Let's see. So use this one. Let's see. I think I have a green one. I don't need the large green. Here we go. Mix up the colors. And actually, I haven't been using them enough. This is not the right. Oh yeah, here they are. But these logs and stuff can actually do a pretty good job. Just a nice little bit of ambient area, you know, like a back forest area. And again, it's only certain spaces, like this back corner, because they, again, my mode is they're not really caring what's going on back there. So they're gonna let it grow. They're gonna let maybe some logs sit for a little while. Now I need another color to go right here. Those are a little bright. I already have those. Yeah, I guess I can put one. That one's too big. Now where's the shady bush when I need it? Just get a shady bush or two. There we go. So yeah, you can take a look back here and see, you know, it kind of covers up the area. You're not just left with this low grass kind of mown and then a wall. It's like a nice little back area. So I know I said this is going to be 100% live, or might be 100% live, but I feel like we're at that point where I'm kind of just going through and putting foliage down. You got the idea. So I'll jump into a time lapse and there's not too much left on this side, so I'll finish up this side. And then this side is going to look almost exactly the same. Obviously we have these rocks in the way, but it's the same idea. Just go in, take a little foliage, and we'll jump back in a few minutes. welcome back. I really like how this little path came out. This is the section of the park right next to this avenue. You can see the station in the background there, but the trees and rocks serve as a nice screen, I think, so we don't have to deal with the traffic, see the traffic. You obviously see it a little bit on this side, but frankly, if you were down at sim height, which my camera won't quite let me, actually I can push this. If we're down here at sim height, the wall is pretty much a person-sized height. You can't actually see across to that building. I do actually. This kind of looks cool, minus the little dip in the road. But you have a little park that's a little bit removed, and then across the street over there is your, advertisements for all those kinds of commercial things. This is weird. We're now in cinematic camera mode with. Oh, there we go. So there are a few other things I need to finish up here. The middle area here next to the actual building needs a bit of work. And I completely forgot about this fountain needing at least something. It obviously can't be left as is. It's just kind of plopped in the middle of grass, and that makes no sense. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move it maybe right about there. I'm going to give it a little bit of a tile zone area around it. Now, I know the park version of this has pretty much a tile. It might even be, well, I don't know if I want that tile or not, but it has a tile surrounding it, but it also has a parking lot, which I really did want. I wanted to avoid the parking lot at this point. I don't really use much of these often. Maybe I should, although I'm not sure how much I really like any of them. I kind of like this one best. And I believe it's the same. Whoops. I believe this is the same as this. Yeah, it's got, I mean, it looks almost exactly the same. So I'm willing to say that it is. Let's just use this one. I'm trying to make it parallel. Whoops. Parallel with this road here. Almost got it. There we go. And I'll just make a nice little, pavilion area, I guess, plaza area. And frankly, the easiest way to do that is to just use move it to grab props. There we go. And I don't want the fountain. I just want these. We'll just line these up. There we go. And I'll turn this. I think it should look okay. Turn, because it's just boxes. Fortunately, it looks like it's something wrong because the don't quite match, but I think that'll be okay. And I might even, let's see if I can find a nice little like half wall spelled with an A. Now, oh, this wall rock thing, maybe that'll work. And just a way to delineate the edges here. You don't want to run the tile just directly into grass. Looks really weird that way. We'll tuck these in like this. And obviously I have to build another one manually. And I did it again. I messed up my tiling. This grid that shows up when you have move it on is a killer because you can't see how your tiling works. You see, I left this gap because I could not see it. This is not the first time I've done this. And as you can tell, it's slightly annoying. Now, I do need to move the fountain to something like the middle. Like that. All right, now let's try and finish this up here. Put this little bit of rock wall thing going on here. And I like this because it's not a full person height wall. As you can imagine, I don't need to block your view of the rest of the park. It was only the road, like I was talking about before, that you really kind of want to block the view of. So I'll finish these up here, and I'm actually going to go ahead and put some in the middle too. Just to, I don't know, make it look a little more interesting. So now this is our nice, we got these little grass sprites popping up. Should be able to paint under most of them. Get them to go away. Actually, it might be the perfect size for a brush. Because I believe my brushes make them go away too. Yeah. You can see it bleeding through just a little bit. I take it in, it shows up down here, but that might be concrete anyway, so we might get away with it. So for now, that'll be okay. And I'll put a couple benches in as well. Bench. Just a few, oh, I don't know, kind of on the edges here. Nice places to sit down and watch the fountain. Flip this around. And there. Yeah. Oh, I got really close to even. Just fix that. There we go. Probably going to need a lamp or two. We'll take this into nighttime. Drop back to my really nice nighttime LUT here. I am going to get rid of these street lamps on this one because I want to do them myself. Can't upgrade to this type. Well, that's annoying. What if I upgrade to this? Yeah, I really don't want it to bulldoze everything though. But it looks like it's going to. And then back to this. There we go. Unfortunately, it looks like it bulldozed a couple things that I need to deal with. Let's move this. Actually, yeah, that's not half bad with just the mud, although I don't like all those sprites picking up. So I will go back and actually I'm going to do it with Surface Painter. Just with a single, just kind of go in along the middle. And a little bleed through is okay. I don't want too much there because it's just kind of our cut through path area. And then here, go back to brush, and I recognize that is very bright. That's why I don't use this LUT during daytime. With just a moment. There we go. Now we'll go back to nighttime. There we go. And now we go for lamp. Oops, with 1M. And I think just maybe one in the corner here. And yeah, I know it's close to that other one, but another one there. And then probably here and here. There we go. So that covers our plaza. And now we're still left, like I said, with this area right around the building. I'm going to go back to my rect LUT, go to daytime. And let's take a look and see what we want to do about this area. So it has parking, which is unfortunate. I kind of wish it didn't. But actually, maybe what I need to do is grab it and zoom it around 180, because then the parking is at least, whoops, that was weird. Now the parking is at least kind of closer to the street. Maybe that makes sense a little bit. Staff parking, exhibit parking. I don't know. Handicap parking. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can't really change it. It's part of the asset. So from here, I guess we just draw a little bit. Actually, we should do it with the brush because I don't want to deal with it messing up my paths. Just kind of connect these like, I could do this with the smaller brush. So this is almost our mandatory connection. Now this side, I might be able to cover it up with grass, and I think I will. So the next question is, what do we do with this area? I think what we do is we go back to this. We say no street light. And we do the same thing we did before. We upgrade to this, and then we upgrade back. This does need to be replaced because it's just a path. Let's do that really quickly. Hopefully I can get this to match so I don't have to deal with the... How does that look? It's a little bit off. Wanted to match where my chairs were. There we go. And of course we got to go back and do the brush again. Once. Twice. And then a third one just to finish this corner. Now here, I think just a couple lines might do the trick. Line. I think a yellow one. It's not what I want. I think I want, there we go, a white one. Now, let's see. Actually, you know what I want? I want bollards. And these, because they're kind of a stone bollard, I think of decently well. At least they're the same color as the stone wall. So I will go ahead and just mark this off because this will be perhaps the vehicle traffic. I mean, obviously only sometimes because you can see you've got bollards here, but there will be vehicles there at times. So, and you're going to be blocked off from entering the path. And I'm going to put these retractable ones in as well here. Maybe 2 of them, just like that. Now I have to distinguish this area. Now, I think a curb will do just fine. Luckily, Ronix has these nice curbs. I haven't used them very much because I haven't found a good occasion to, but I think this is a good one. Just go in and see. I don't know how far I need to make it, but I do want to make it straight. So that looks straight, I think. Almost. There we go. So we'll go at least that far. Now, what do I want to do with the curb here? I think I just want to actually move this one in a little bit. Like that. And then take another one and just kind of finish it off. And that's the vehicular area. Give it another curb here. And these kind of serve the same purpose as the bollards, just to visually distinguish the car access area from the pedestrian access or just the garden area. So there's that curb. And I'm actually going to place some of these in between just to give some visual breakup. And small might be too small. Go to me, yeah, medium looks better. How does large look? You know, that looks fine. We're gonna go with large actually. So we'll go ahead, we'll give like enough space to get in here. And this actually should be a curved one. So I'll fix that in a moment. And this will be kind of entrance and exit. That looks good. So where is curved? I have a curved curb. As difficult as that is to say. Although the curve of the curb is quite wide. We're gonna have to be a little careful here. And of course I can't actually locate it, so we're gonna do it with move it. I'll just take these back so they fit in nice and flush. Like that. Now again, the problem is we have this weird grass. So if I get lucky, this will look nice. Yeah, that does the job. And then once again, curb. Do the curved one first, just because it's the trickiest. And then I need these straight ones. A 1x here. Do this with the line tool, it makes things easier. Connect that right into the building. And then this one will run right down to... Actually, I think I might just run it all the way to the bollard. Maybe like that. And then I can get rid of this pavement piece. Oh, that's a lot. Oh, yeah, okay, that's fine. And now we have a bit more of an integrated area. You know, it looks like it's part of the park in the appropriate way, although this is way, way skew. Can't believe I didn't notice this. Okay, clear all this. Back into move it. Can't believe I didn't notice this. That's just one. I need all 3 of these. I need to... Whoops, not do that. I need to... Interesting. I didn't expect it to be moving it as I'm rotating it, but whatever does the job. And let's just get these tucked in the right way. There we go. This one should hopefully just kind of move in like this, and not perfect, but yeah, there we go. Oops. That looks way better. Okay, so now this is our integrated parking, which of course needs bumpers, especially this one because what's to stop you from just driving straight up into that nonsense. We'll go to, I need 2.5 meter spacing. Of course, I'm in fence mode, so just slightly skew things like that. And while we're here, I might as well do this one as well. Don't always, but that'll work. Great. Now, do I want some more bollards? I do. Bollard. Again, pretty much anywhere cars are, there needs to be a preventative measure from letting them get somewhere they're not supposed to go. And this one can be retracted. Well, there are cars back here, but I'm gonna ignore them because I don't think they belong back there. Now this is just awkward parking, so I guess I put an even spacing of bollards here. Not that many, but do sure 3. Yeah, I guess. It's just it's a weird thing to have parking up here at this angle and then this over here. Kind of odd, but all right. So now we're left with this area, which I think I can just remove the concrete. And unfortunately, we're left with those lamps that I can't get rid of. Or I could with the prop it up tool, but it would get rid of them in every building that has that lamp. And I don't want to do that. So we're just going to hopefully not notice them too much. And remove all of this extra concrete. Extra concrete everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. There we go. It just kind of, yeah, that one's good. Okay, so now it looks much more integrated, right? This has curbs. And, whoa, got an extra curb just kind of hanging out over here. Put this back, and actually these two can be demolished. This one will just be tucked in like that. So now this is much more integrated. I talked about doing a little bit of grass, but frankly, this would be probably manicured anyway. So I'm not going to put that more wild grass that was going on. I'm going to just kind of clear out some of this. There we go. So that may be it. It's pretty simple, but I think I just kind of like it. It's a nice modern park area. Although actually, I'm going to get a little bit more foliage in here, trees, and drop them in this back area again, just to kind of shield the freeway. Flip this so the two tree types are together. This is kind of a weird middle section that happened here. I don't know about that. There we go. And just a little bit more, like I said, I just want to kind of fill in this back area before we go. Apparently I didn't get any trees in that one. Plop these here. And I don't know, one more selection should do it. There. Yeah, I think that's it. I think just a really nice, simple park that surrounds our modern art museum and integrates it into the city. Unfortunately, that's all the time I have for this episode. It turned out to be quite a long one. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, thank you very much for watching. Remember to subscribe if you want more. And in the meantime, the thumbs up for your thoughts. My name's been Rotype, and I'll see you next time.